So then the left will say, all right, we're going to do something. We're going to show up and we're going to obstruct the law.
Right.
We are going to obstruct the will of the people. When the law is enforced, as it is meant to be enforced, they will then claim fascism. This brings us to New Jersey in illegal immigration. The Newark mayor, possibly the worst of the mayors.
Possibly.
Ras Baraka and 3 other New Jersey Democrats basically tried to force their way inside of an ICE facility. And, of course, it resulted in their arrest. And I was watching this yesterday on CNN. There were some tells here from the left. Before we get to that, we actually have a photo of the arrest of Mayor Baraka. Yep. That's
not the same Baraka.
Yeah, that guy doesn't get habeas corpus.
No, he does not.
No.
I think we can all agree on that one. Come on,
That's a
common
lot of
ground.
corpuses.
Sorry, right Baraka, but here's the mayor one.
He needs some milk.
This is going on outside of a detention facility. And, of course, those on the left immediately misrepresented this. They immediately lied, and they were not held accountable from the media. The media did their best to carry their water. I was watching this yesterday, going nuts, kind of like watching the Sunday paper.
You just know. I mean, you just know what's going to come out on it.
Yeah, that simmering rage kind of bubbled to the surface. That brings us to the latest installment of Claim Truth. All right, so this happened. They tried to get into an ICE facility. They weren't allowed to. They claimed that they had the right to inspect it. ICE said, no, you better leave. And they said, we're not going to leave. They said, we really have to tell you to leave. And then when they said, okay, now we're going to arrest you, the mayor ran like a little bitch. That's what happened. And then...
Didn't get very far, by the way.
Right. And then you see the physical assaults that took place there. Again, does ICE have the right to deport illegal aliens? The answer is yes. It doesn't matter what these representatives say in New Jersey. It doesn't matter. It's a federal issue. So let's go to the claims here. And this is just a microcosm, to be clear, of what is happening across the country and why we can't permit it to happen. Your vote can't be nullified by career charlatans. So Representative Monica McIver said that she was completely peaceful at the facility.
The DHS also says that, in their words, you were body slamming an ICE officer. Is that what we're looking at? Is that what happened?
Absolutely no. I mean, I honestly do not know how to body slam anyone. There's no video that supports me body slamming anyone.
Yeah, so just to be clear, I think you're misinterpreting this where you think they're saying that you did 360-degree ABABY Zangief body slam. No. They're simply saying that you were slamming into someone else's body, committing assault and battery, which brings us to the truth. This fat black lady definitely got physical. Here's another angle. And shove, elbow, shove. Boom 1, boom 2, boom 3.
Oh, she's not even being pushed.
That's a huge bitch.
Yeah. So, without the footage, I would have said at the very least you were unpleasant.
Yes. And you're using your body as a battering ram. That's really what's
almost
going on
as though you're slamming your fat lady body into another one. The bodies are slamming.
I would call it more of a Dodge Ram.
Yeah. Yes. Is that got a Hemi? No, it doesn't.
That's a 1500.
It's a Twinkie.
That's how people in Newark say hello.
Yes, exactly. Now, to be clear, when you watch that, some people are trying to say she was pushed.
No.
Even then, she was putting her elbows out and pushing. Then she restabilizes, no one is pushing her, and starts throwing elbows.
She wasn't even being pushed. Maybe the very, very first half second, but the ones where she's bumping in and pushing, like you look behind her and a guy actually has his hands on her shoulders.
Yes.
If anything, she's got some force going backwards.
Now, just keep in mind, the left gets to lie and the left gets to do all this. And don't worry, they won't be arrested without trial where their actual constitutional rights are suspended for being invited in on a walking tour. But we'll get to that. Here's the next claim that they've tried to make. They tried to Eddie Haskell this, that all of them were, in fact, they were invited in.
Were you able to get any of that oversight actually done? Congresswoman McIver, I'll send that to you.
Yes, we actually were. I mean, that's why I find it to be appalling that they said we were trespassing, because how are we trespassing? And then you offer us a tour at the end, which is the reason why we were there in the first place, to have a tour of this facility that had just opened up on May 1st.
Oh, her name's La Monica.
Monica.
That makes sense. I just saw
There's
it.
an apostrophe in there somewhere. I don't care. Here's the truth. They were told specifically, do not go in. You are not permitted to go in. Don't go in here, and certainly don't body slam anyone, you fat bitch.
And stop yelling World Star.
Yes. Here's a quote from the U.S. Attorney for New Jersey, Alina Habba. She wrote, the mayor of Newark, Ras Baraka, committed trespass and ignored multiple warnings from Homeland Security investigations to remove himself from the ICE detention center in Newark, New Jersey this afternoon. He has willingly chosen to disregard the law. That will not stand in this state. He has been taken into custody. No one is above the law. Now, here's, for those of you who are confused, what you're seeing these people do is called lying. Or saying, we were invited in and we didn't hit nobody. You were told not to go in multiple times, and then you hit people. All right? This is clear as day. Now, let's contrast that with, she said, we were invited in for a tour. Oh, do you mean like on January 6th, where there were protesters who were let into public property, told that they could tour public property, told the rest of the protesters to act peacefully, and then were arrested without trial for, in some cases, years? There they are, opening the door.
And look at them
They're
ran through
afraid for
those
their
cars.
lives. Yes.
Terrified.
Here's
Rioters.
video of Chansley in the Senate chamber. Capitol Police officers take him to multiple entrances and even try to open locked doors for him. We counted at least 9 officers who were within touching distance of unarmed Jacob Chansley. Not one of them even tried to slow him down.
Everybody, this must be peaceful.
This has to be peaceful. We have the right to peacefully assemble.
Guys, remember that? Remember when all the conservatives tucked tail and ran, and we said, there were some people who were disruptive, but a lot of people were invited in and were clear about being peaceful, and they were. 95% of the people from January 6th, they were charged with trespassing, including those people who were welcomed in. So the people who actually were welcomed in some cases wanded down, they were arrested and treated as felons. I hope they get at least that in New Jersey, these representatives, because they actually committed felonies. Are you guys seeing the difference? The left lied about many of the people on January 6th, not all, but certainly the people you just saw. The left lied about them, got them charged with felonies. They will lie about their own behavior to avoid being charged with felonies, and then ask you to find common ground. Let's just be clear about that. Let's go on to the next claim that was made from these people in New Jersey. All references available, link in the description, that they were just conducting an inspection. It was their job.
As Congresswoman Bonnie Watson-Coleman said, we were simply there to do our job. Therefore, oversight visit. It was a very tense situation. It unfortunately did not have to be like that. They created that confrontation. They created that chaos, and then ultimately went to arrest the mayor of the largest city of New Jersey, who is my mayor and my constituent.
Oh, come on. That's nothing to brag about. Truth. Of course they weren't conducting an inspection. They weren't invited to conduct an inspection. They were told to leave. They went there to try and block ICE from enforcing federal law. They completely disobeyed what should be a national issue, DHS rules. They got physical. When they were finally challenged, one of them ran away like a little bitch when they said, hey, if you do not stop, we are going to arrest you. They said, all right, time to arrest you. He went, bah, and there was just a little there was a little dust cloud of where the mayor of Newark used to be.
Kool-Aid! Runs through a wall.
So he was arrested for trespassing, and unlike the January 6ers, he was released 5 hours later.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. She should be charged with a felony. I hope we see at least that, but you won't.
No.
You won't see it
not.
because the left, there's a double standard here. Can you imagine a single January 6er on camera like that when you had their name, identification, knew exactly who they were, and they did that with a Capitol officer? They're guaranteed doing at least a year and will forever have a felony record.
Yes.
This broad, she'll get a slap on the wrist.
It's like, so they were charged with trespassing on January 6th. It almost seems like it was something other than an insurrection. And this, by, Destiny's, half-brained definition of what an insurrection is, actually fits almost the definition of an insurrection.
Right.
They were trying to prohibit the government from doing this. Violence broke out. They gathered there to be able to do that. I think it fits at least 3 of the 4 factors for it. This doesn't make any sense. You can't just go there and say, I don't like this. And then when they're like, hey, guys, you're actually trespassing, you got to leave. No, we don't like this. Okay, guys, if you don't leave. And then start barging in when they finally go, okay, I guess we have to arrest somebody now?
Yeah. Well, let me be clear as to the playbook, okay? Here's what they'll do is there's law, right? And the law has been, by the way, these aren't even new laws, that you're to be deported if you're in this country illegally, that you're not to enter this country illegally. They just haven't been enforcing it, the left, by design. Okay. So then the left will say, all right, we're going to do something. We're going to show up and we're going to obstruct the law.
Right.
We are going to obstruct the will of the people. When the law is enforced, as it is meant to be enforced, they will then claim fascism. They will then claim that they are being strong-armed. They show up to commit a crime, to block the practice of the law that you voted for, and then claim fascism when the law of the land is enforced. That is not fascism. Fascism would be creating a new law so that these people could be sent to the gulags. And by the way, all of this is happening, and you have to ask yourself, why? Why do they go to the mat for Abrego Garcia, an MS-13 gang member? Mm-hmm. Why are they obstructing ICE from deporting people? Why are they creating sanctuary cities and not allowing those tasked with the job to deport violent felons? Why are they protecting, by the way, illegal aliens in our prisons? Why is this their cause? Why are they willing to die on this hill? Here's a Freudian slip for you. Representative Subramaniam, Subramaniam? I don't know. You guys are going to see who he is. This jackass here said that he would go to jail up against Trump. And he said he would go to jail for his, and I want you to hear his word.
I couldn't help notice, too, that they also mentioned, DHS mentioned they're going to go after members of Congress as well. And, I just look at this and I say, as a member of Congress, if I'm going to be put behind bars for trying to stand up for the constitutional rights of my constituents, for standing up for civil liberties, bring it on, because this is ridiculous what they're doing.
Oh, we shudder with her. Bring it on. Yeah, come on. Bring it on. I'm gonna stand for. Here's the thing he said, though.
I say it's on to the break of dawn.
It's on like Donkey Kong. Your constituents. Hold on a second. Constituents are supposed to be the voters of your district. You the illegal aliens who are voting for you? Are your constituents? Does it include MS-13 members? Does it include people who have no right being here? Because here's the thing. You have to make a choice. Your constituents are either the American people, tax-paying American citizens, or the people you're protecting right now, the people you are willing to go to jail to protect. That's no small thing. He views these people being deported as his constituents. I'm telling you what this is. They are trying to protect the votes they bought. They are trying to protect the new voting bloc that they believe they bought in the Biden administration. The Biden administration thought that they could purchase new votes, open up borders, and then give them a path to citizenship. Hey, 20 million, let's call it 10 million. You know that in many of these districts, they are determined by hundreds of votes. States are determined by thousands of votes. If all of a sudden you turn those illegal aliens into constituents, voters, guess what? Democrats may never lose again. But then they'll call you a fascist if you say, no, that can't happen on our watch. You can't simply cancel out our vote by bringing in non-contributing criminals and considering them constituents. They don't view you as their primary constituents. I'm willing to go to jail for the constitutional rights of my constituents. Illegal aliens do not have constitutional rights because they are not citizens here. Either the American worker, the American taxpayer, is your constituent as a representative, or illegal aliens. You have to pick one. It is a binary choice. Comment below if that caused you to flip your lid as much as I did. When I was watching, I'm going, constituent, whoa, he's basically saying these people are his constituent. Does anyone else see this?
Can we suspend habeas corpus on a state-by-state basis, or is this a blanket thing?
I would like to see it for that guy.
Level? I don't even know. There seems to be some places where it might be appropriate.
Yeah, in this case, at least a little duct tape.
You've changed my mind.
Yes.
Internment camps coming right your way, sir.
Yes. YouTube's is something you're not allowed to say according to the guidelines. I was quoting the guidelines. I'm glad you're still here. It means you watched this video all the way through. Oh, it says here that Rumble, where you can go follow my channel, lets you say pretty much anything, provided it's not illegal. That reminds me of, what does it remind me of? Oh, yeah. YouTube, pre-2015. Go on and follow me there. I'm live, 11 a.m. Eastern, weekdays. Don't call YouTube a Oh, it's just a different way of saying it's